Hello everybody, it's me, Jamo. Welcome back to my channel. Today I just want to go over a few things that I've learned while playing Grey Zone Warfare. Hopefully you guys find these useful. If you do, feel free to leave me a comment down below um, if you found it helpful. Anyway, let's get into it. So, first tip is all about the weapons. Now, the weapons that I mainly use when I go into any of the zones, regardless of whether we're starting in the starting town or if we're going to Hunter's Paradise, I primarily use the AK-74M or the AK-74N variants. Now, the reason I use these weapons is because I believe that the 5.45 cartridge is way better overall than the AKM versions, which fire the 7.62 round. Personally, I just think as a whole, the gun has better recoil. It seems to just shoot and feel nicer. And the round itself isn't too hard to find on AI. So I've got an example to show you just in my inventory. I literally just went out to pick up these weapons. So I picked up an AK-74U, which is kind of similar to the AK-74M. It fires the same 5.45 round. A lot of the AI use this weapon, so it's really good to just simply unload their clips and take the 5.45 ammo that they're using. It's a pretty good weapon. The ammunition is pretty good, and I believe it feels way more powerful compared to the standard 7.62 round, which looks like this. The SP version. This is what the AI use a lot. Honestly, it doesn't seem like it's that good at all. Now, obviously, I do appreciate that there are different versions of the 7.62 round. For example, this round, the 7.62 by 39 US version of the round, seems far better than the standard SP round. But personally, I like the 5.45. I just think it feels nicer and it seems to have less recoil when I'm in automatic mode. Obviously, in single fire mode, you're not going to have that much of an issue, but if you want to kind of lay down fire in quick succession relatively accurately, I'd say the AK-74M is better compared to the AKM variants. Okay, so that's tip number one, is about the weapons. Now, with weapons, obviously, even if you're not planning on using the weapon, you can always bring it back and sell it. Now, what I have noticed, just to show you, is that the AKM seems to be worth considerably less money than the AK-74Ms. So I'm just going to get one out for an example. Can I put that in there? Probably should have done this earlier. Never mind. Just move this around a little bit. There we go. So if we just go to the vendor. So comparison wise, obviously there is a little bit less durability on this one compared to this one. So we're sitting at 64% durability for the AK-74M and a 56% durability on the AKM SN. Now these are both weapons that I've picked off bots. Now, if we have a look at how much they're worth, the AK-74M is worth considerably more, $228 compared to $94 on the 7.62 AK. So, in my personal opinion, if you're looking to make some money quickly, so you can go and buy some better gear from the vendors. If you're picking up AKs, pick up the 74Ms over the 7.62 ones. Just pick them up; they're better. The AK-74U, I wouldn't really recommend bringing it out. It's not really worth a lot. Let me just show you. If we just rotate it, it's not really worth a lot. $100, and durability is kind of similar. So it looks like the winner seems to be the AK-74M out of these three weapons. Now, obviously, if you're picking up things like the CQA1, which is like the semi-automatic version of the M4A1, you can see it's worth a lot more, $429. But those weapons, I've noticed, well, that particular version is rarer. You can find another version. I've only ever found this one when you kill one of the bots at the airfield, just over here. He's normally hovering around near the terminal. Obviously, that's a good one to sell to make some money. So that's just important to keep in mind. Now, another tip I want to talk about is armor. So, as you progress, you will notice that your reputation when you complete tasks from vendors will go up, and obviously some of them will give you access to weapons, armor, maybe other useful items like medical supplies, food and water, things like that, and other things that you might need for tasks that you're completing. Now, for me, armor is really important. I normally primarily play solo, so I've got to kind of watch my own back and be careful. Um, it's all up to you what armor you use, but personally, I would go for armor that has a front and a back plate. So the commander one is it's not a fantastic piece of armor, but with the back plate, it means you're less likely to get one shot in the back. Whereas if you're maybe using something like VIP plate, which does have a better protection level, it's sitting at 3 instead of a 2A, which is the press the wrong button, which is the commander one. There's no back plate on this one, so if you get shot in the back, you're done. Whereas you might have a slightly better chance with this one. Now, this is just an example. There are higher level pieces of gear that you can use. For example, this one is it's a vest as well. So instead of putting on like a tactical rig followed by body armor, you literally just put the plate carrier on, and it will include slots that you can hold things in as well. Okay, so there's a bit of a difference there. Obviously, if you can get yourself a big tactical rig such as this Russian one, which can carry a lot of stuff, and you can mix it with a level 3 or level 4 armor, then obviously you're good to go. The same with helmets. Helmets as a whole don't seem to work the same way, but obviously the higher the protection level, the higher the chances you have of surviving a bullet to the head. But again, it depends on the bullet. That's also something else to keep in mind if you are going against someone who is maybe using one of these bad boys. You're probably not going to survive that, just being honest. But obviously wearing armor will not make you invincible or anything like that. It just helps to increase your survival chances. Okay, now tip number 3 is all about medical supplies and things. Now, obviously, it's always good to carry bandages for obvious reasons. If you get shot and you need to patch yourself up, splints are also incredibly useful, not just for breaking your legs, but if you ever get shot in the arms too many times and you notice that your arm bones or leg bones are slightly yellow, if you use a splint, you can you can fix that, which applying a bandage won't. It will stop the bleeding, but if you've got any damage to the limbs, the bandage cannot repair that. The splint can. Okay, something else to keep in mind is the tourniquets. Now, tourniquets are really useful for a different reason. So they're similar to the bandage in that they stop bleeding, but unlike a bandage, which will treat a wound, if you use a tourniquet, what it does is it stops the bleeding, but it doesn't treat the wound. So if you are mid-firefight and you've been shot loads of times and you've noticed that your blood levels just down here are going down really quickly, and you've got a couple of seconds, pop a tourniquet on. It's much faster than using a bandage, and all it will do is it will prevent you from bleeding out. Then when you've got time and you know you're safe, then obviously you can bandage up and treat your wounds. But the tourniquet is just really good to just buy yourself a little bit of time and stop you from bleeding out. Okay? Now, some other things that can be really useful to take along with you is your surgical kit. So anytime you get shot in the chest and you notice you've got a small coughing icon, that means you've got like shrapnel, basically. The surgical kit, and I've got another version in here. sorry, in this one, does take a little while to actually apply it. So definitely don't do this until you know you're safe, as in you're clear, or all the AI are dead. At that point, you can apply it. But also really good to carry. Something else I also want to kind of just add on to the medical stuff is the QR kits and the other sort of things you can find, like the healthcare kits. So these are little things that you can find when, as your reputation increases with LabRat, you'll have the ability to unlock mini first aid kits and quick release first aid kits. And basically, what these all are is they're just smaller storage pouches that you can put. Now, I personally like to keep them in the safe lock because medical supplies, if I've got some always in a safe lock, I'm never ever going to be in a situation where I don't have bandages, tourniquets, whatever I need. It's always there. It's in its own compartment. You can't put any other things apart from medical items in there, so there's no way of getting your equipment and stuff mixed up. I personally just think it's easier that way. Obviously, the higher the reputation, the better one she will sell you. So at the moment, I'm on reputation level 2 with LabRat, so she's given me access to the quick release kits, which only take up 2 slots but give you 6 back. So if you're using the entire safe lock box you have, you're sitting at 12 slots, which you can put medical supplies in, which I think is pretty good, considering if you didn't have that, you'd only have a 4 slot. Now, something else I'd like to talk about as well is the importance of cash. Now, it sounds really obvious, but pretty much everything you pick up can be sold, whether it's ammo, whether it's bandages, whether it's food. But there are also some weird items out there that you might not necessarily think are worth a lot, but actually can be. So if we just go over, I haven't got 2 great examples because these one aren't worth particularly much, but this credit card, which I found just off a generic AI soldier, wasn't armored up or anything, common credit card, it's worth $200, and that only takes up 1 slot. Same with digital taps. Same with this digital camera. Again, I picked it up off a generic AI, not much armor on him, and yet it's worth $140. Now compare that to the AKM, which is only worth $94, and how big that weapon is. It doesn't even fit in my backpack. It's crazy. So sometimes it's worth just double checking to see what you're picking up, because some things are definitely worth picking up more than others. So yeah, it's just about, a lot of it's about loot management and things like that. But some other things that are also really useful is the active headset. So at the moment, mine was turned off while I'm talking, so you don't hear the choppers. But you have the ability to kind of increase the sound and turn it off in maybe areas that you need to, have a chat with people on the comms, which is a nice little addition. And also, my final tip for today is going to be about, when you're completing tasks, look out for some of the rewards that you can get. So a lot of the rewards that you can get normally obviously depending on whose missions you're completing, will obviously depend on what weapons or rewards you're going to get. So if you're going to complete handshakes tasks, he's more likely to give you armor because he sells armor. Same with if you complete gunny's missions, he's more likely to give you grenades or ammunition or guns because that's what he sells. But sometimes there are some different rewards that you can get, which might not necessarily be things you can buy in store in the vendors' shops. So what I've got is the cooler, which I completed for completing one of Artisan's missions. And all it is, it's just a food storage. You can't put anything else in it, but it gives you a lot of space. You're looking at 36 spots in one small container, which doesn't take up a lot of room in the inventory. Very good. The same with the ammo box. The ammo box holds 12, but only takes up 4. So again, these are just things to keep in mind. You will know what your rewards are when you look at the missions. It will obviously tell you what you'll get for completing it. Sometimes it's just good to keep that in mind anytime that you're thinking about what missions to go to. One more thing I will say though is about loot locations. So I've noticed from when I'm playing anyway, the airfield is very good for loot. There's a lot of places that you can find boxes. So for example, there is an office over here. If you have the key for it, you can unlock it and you have access to an equipment box, a medical box. Further up here in the terminal itself, there is actually an upstairs bit. I'll probably do a video going through the terminal at some point, but there is an upstairs part where there's an equipment box you don't need a key for, which is just easily accessible to you. Also, it's where one of the AI drops the infamous CQA1, which is in one of these bags. Here we go. Which is a decent weapon. It's basically just a semi-automatic version of the M401. It's decent, and it comes. I haven't touched this weapon. This is how it comes. So it comes with an ACOG sight as standard. So if you even want to just take that off and apply it to a different weapon, provided that you've got the correct rail mount, you can do so. And durability wise, it's not terrible. And of course, if you just want to sell them, then just keep in mind that for a relatively easy gun to get your hands on, you'll get a fair bit of cash for it. It's a 429. So yeah, that's it for this video. Just wanted to go over a few things that I've learned, whether it be about the guns, about the ammo that I like to use, about plates, and about health kits. Just keep that in mind if you guys are ever looking into going to the zone. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did find any of it useful, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I appreciate it. I will be reading comments and responding. And obviously, if you liked the video and thought it was alright, feel free to drop me a like and maybe even hit the subscribe button. Thanks very much for anybody who watched. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.